The sky over Vasilkiv trembled with the roar of the engines of MiG-31K fighter jets belonging to the Russian Federation Air and Space Forces. This was a message that reached far beyond the battlefield, all the way to the capitals of the West. Russia had refired its hypersonic weapon, the Kinzhal, which tears through modern air defense systems like paper, meaning dagger. Pro-Russian military telegram channels reported that 3 Kinzhal missiles were launched targeting a Ukrainian airbase near Kyiv. This hypersonic initial strike was followed by a coordinated wave of Caliber cruise missiles launched from platforms belonging to the Russian Navy and Iskander-M ballistic missiles fired by ground troops. This was not a random bombing, but a perfect demonstration of how weapons with different capabilities worked in harmony to overcome Ukraine's defense systems and destroy its vital infrastructure, a true manifestation of a synergy war. The air raid sirens heard across the country were concrete evidence of this hypersonic threat, which was later confirmed by various news organizations. Reports of MiG-31Ks launching Kinzhals have created deep psychological pressure on the Ukrainian people and military. Meanwhile, Russia's Kaliber-E cruise missiles launched from naval platforms were expanding the range and scope of this strategic attack. With ranges exceeding 2,500 kilometers, Kaliber missiles can strike command centers, ammunition depots, and power plants deep within Ukraine, launching from the safe waters of the Black Sea. This means that no point in Ukraine's rear areas is safe anymore. However, the most striking element of this multifaceted attack was the Kinzhal, which lived up to its name. With speeds exceeding Mach 10, the Kinzhal can cover a distance of approximately 2,000 kilometers in minutes. It carries a 500-kilogram warhead, making it extremely lethal against both stationary and moving targets, including fortified shelters. What truly makes it unique and almost unstoppable is its unpredictability. Its ability to change its trajectory during flight makes it an almost impossible target, even for the most advanced Western air defense systems like Patriot or NASAMS. Therefore, each launch of the Kinzhal is not only a tactical strike but also a strategic demonstration of Russia's technological superiority. Russia's mastery of the hypersonic battlefield is unmatched. However, when such sensitivity is combined with relentless determination, the resulting outcome is devastating. Russia's latest military campaign showcases not only its technological superiority, but also its industrial resilience and strategic patience. According to sources like Censored News, night attacks using Kinzhal and low-cost Geron-2, also known as Guran-2, drones targeted 8 different regions of Ukraine. Airports, fuel depots, and gas compressor stations were hit. The fires in Sumy, Konotop, and Chernihiv highlight the physical impact of the attacks, while hypersonic missiles crippled Ukraine's air mobility and logistics capabilities with strikes on critical air bases in Starokostiantyy and Ozony. While the Kinzhal dominates headlines, low-cost kamikaze drones like the Geron-2 operate like a slow, stealthy, and ruthless ghost. For example, in Kamensk, intense attacks by Geron-2s set fire to a thermal power plant and a railroad substation. This is a perfect example of how the concepts of precision and saturation, mass attack, in Russian strategy go hand in hand. Each wave of Geron-2 weakens Ukraine's energy grid and depletes its scarce air defense systems, paving the way for larger, faster, and more deadly weapons like Kinzhal to strike their targets with impunity. The question of how long Ukraine can withstand this pressure in the face of Russia's relentless, multi-layered attacks is becoming increasingly urgent. In the past 3 months, Russia has intensified its attacks on Ukraine's energy infrastructure using Geron-2 drones and Iskander-M missiles in a calculated and methodical offensive. Transformer substations, hydroelectric power plants, and thermal power plants in Chernihiv, Sumy, Nikopol, and Kherson were targeted and heavily damaged. Pokrovsk and Rodinsky, 2 of Ukraine's largest coal mines, have been completely disabled. The loss of compressor stations in Kharkiv and Poltava led to a significant drop in gas imports from the European Union and reduced national energy production by up to 60%. The impact was catastrophic. Rolling blackouts, cities without heat, and an energy grid on the brink of collapse are harbingers of the coming winter for the Ukrainian people. However, for Russia, this is not just an energy war. It is a war of resilience and precision, conducted with tools designed to complement each other. So, how does the Kinzhal fit into this broader strategy? The deployment of missiles is rarely random. In most cases, drones like Geron 2 are used as a vanguard force. Their tasks are to overload Ukraine's radar coverage and force air defense systems to make firings that reveal their positions. Then, a Kinzhal hypersonic missile strikes these detected coordinates with pinpoint accuracy. This combined arms approach has rendered traditional layered air defense models obsolete. Even Western military analysts openly admit that no NATO country currently possesses a system capable of operationally intercepting a projectile traveling at Mach 10. And there's also a scale factor. As reported by Telegram channels like Shanzursus Haber, in 2025 alone, Russia increased the number of Geron drones to over 44,000, up from 11,000 the previous year. This deployment, which is up to 4 times greater, highlights Moscow's increasing military-industrial capacity and the contribution of these inexpensive but effective weapons to tactical efficiency. When quantity meets quality, especially with a game-changer like the Kinzhal, the results are devastating. What do these developments mean for the balance of power in Ukraine? Each Kinzhal launch represents not only a physical attack, but also a deep psychological victory. Ukrainian air defense personnel know that no shelter, no point is completely safe when MiG-31Ks take off. Every radar signal detected, every lock-on, could be a harbinger of their end. The weapon's hypersonic speed makes reaction time irrelevant. By the time the alarms start ringing, the target will have already been hit. Western analysts often tend to describe Russia's arsenal as asymmetric. However, this term does not fully capture what is happening. This is a strategic synergy. Geron is for endurance and consumption. Iskander is for precision and penetrating power. Kalibar is for range and flexibility. And Kinzhal is for absolute superiority and psychological shock. Each one plays its own role in gradually dismantling Ukraine's fighting capacity and national will. The recent increase in attacks on energy infrastructure is not random destruction, but a systematic and planned collapse of Ukraine's industrial and military backbone. Can technology win a war on its own? Perhaps it cannot. However, especially in a brutal Eastern European winter, it could decide which side will last longer. As Ukraine's gas flow dwindles, factories fall silent due to power outages, and power plants burn, Russia's hypersonic campaign is beginning to take on an air of inevitability rather than intimidation. This combination of speed, accuracy, and sustainability puts Russia in a position that no other country currently holds. In war, speed is not just an advantage, it is a form of dominance. The Kinzhal's unique speed distorts time itself, compressing minutes into moments and leaving the enemy with no chance to react. That's what makes it so much more than just a rocket. This heralds a new era where hypersonic precision fundamentally reshapes military strategy, and those who cannot keep up with this new reality will inevitably fall behind. As winter deepens and air raid sirens continue to echo through Ukrainian cities, one reality becomes clearer with each Kinzhal strike. Air superiority is defined at hypersonic speeds, and Russia is demonstrating undisputed mastery in this domain. The Sakak command center in the Kharkiv region turned into a raging inferno after the crew produced a launcher and unleashed a torrent of fire that illuminated the night sky. The strike was swift, large, and complete. The location of the Ukrainian command center was reduced to burning rubble. Before the collision, the FAB-3000 fell quickly and silently. Vehicles were thrown about as the explosion passed through the Ukrainian deployment point, covering the area in fire and dust. As soon as the smoke cleared, the position was lost. The Bodana, a Ukrainian-made howitzer, was successfully captured on the battlefield by a drone operator. The truck was apparently destroyed by a kamikaze drone, proving that drones can hinder the movement of combat units near the front line. A Grad MLRS crew from the 27th Guards Motor Rifle Company of the Central Forces Group launched a powerful and accurate attack, disrupting the peace in the Krasnoarmeysk direction. The launcher, roaring into action, sent a series of missiles arcing across the sky before striking a fortress of the Ukrainian armed forces. The defensive positions collapsed, and the firing points were shattered as the explosion occurred in a massive cloud of dust and debris. The once safe police station turned into a smoldering wreck in seconds. The elite airborne unit from Ivanovo is keeping a steadfast watch under the vast skies of the Kursk region, in the direction of Kharkovka, hidden behind thick, wind-swept grasses and impenetrable forests. They await the faint, rising buzz of approaching threats. The silence is broken when hostile drones appear on the horizon. The crews of the Vostok Force Group's self-propelled artillery systems, the Masta S, made precise shots from camouflaged firing positions while working in coordination with Ukrainian UAV command centers near the village of Guy. After receiving precise coordinates from the reconnaissance units, the Masta S batteries immediately began firing their guided missiles. When the bullets pierced the open sky and fell with devastating accuracy, the enemy's control centers were destroyed. Extremely brave soldiers pushed forward and captured Pokrovsk, advancing further into the Dnepropetrovsk region. The Central Force Group's fighters are conducting a continuous assault on the front lines, destroying armored vehicles, demolishing fortified positions, and pursuing enemy soldiers day and night. The operators of attack drones move behind them like invisible but ever-present shadows. Accurate strikes pierce enemy defenses, targeting large drone bombers, NATO-supplied equipment, militant battlefields, and vital communication links. These scenes were captured in the latest video from November 17th. This video shows pieces of steel and fire, Ukrainian military units collapsing under drone-guided attacks, cars exploding with bright lights, and electronic nodes going silent one by one. As the battlefield shifts, the line is relentlessly advanced by very brave forces. Look at that fire. According to reports, fierce clashes destroyed a Ukrainian armored vehicle on the outskirts of Kupiansk. Increasing smoke and flames on the front line indicate a new escalation. Drone activities allegedly carried out by Russian forces continue to target Ukrainian military vehicles in the Huliaipol region. A damaged FPV drone could be seen next to a BRDM armored vehicle. Although it didn't explode, visual analysis likely indicates it's another KVN unit. After that, the Kanyaz drone made an emergency landing at a different point, but some ammunition fell nearby, causing a small explosion. In the Kharkiv region, a reconnaissance drone, after scanning the wooded area, found a Ukrainian-made self-propelled gun hidden among the greenery. The feeding tightened. The operators locked out the strike, and the gun was silenced with a single shot. A sharp, clean blow and another pistol was disabled. A large Russian Jaran UAV attack reportedly damaged port facilities and 3 ships. According to reports, the fighting near the border damaged an international Max Pro belonging to Ukrainian forces. The combat vehicle is shown heavily damaged in the images, and smoke clouds can still be seen nearby. Now, the target was identified by drone operators from the 27th Artillery Regiment, a part of the Svarog unit's battery, operating in the Konstantinovka sector. When the location was verified, the assault team moved in. With perfect accuracy, the 2 drones hurtled toward the target, struck the self-propelled artillery, and instantly destroyed it. There is no hesitation from the Russian sailors. Watch Russia take down the Ukrainian Baba Yaga. A grim fate awaited the soldiers of the Ukrainian armed forces on the southern outskirts of Seversk. The Ukrainian group was ambushed by the Russian 123rd Brigade's assault units. They attempted to escape, but their attempts were unsuccessful. Consequently, attacks on the Ukrainian group began, leading to their destruction. The crew of the MLRS, Multiple Launch Rocket System, from the Arus Sever Group launched an attack on a position belonging to the Ukrainian armed forces in a forest area near Vovchansk in the Kharkiv region. Footage has been released of FPV operators from the Rubicon Advanced Unmanned Technologies Test Center, part of the Russian Ministry of Defense. These teams, equipped with kamikaze drones, conduct daily offensive operations against Ukrainian armed forces personnel in special military operations zones and border areas. A UATD Gyurza armored vehicle equipped with a barbecue grill belonging to the Ukrainian armed forces was spotted by Russian FPV operators in the village of Kostiantynivka, Donetsk Oblast, and subsequently launched an attack. The precision strikes rendered the vehicle unusable. Russian FPV UAV operators captured footage of UMPK-equipped FABs being dropped by Russian Air Force jets on a Ukrainian armed forces position near the village of Andreevka in the Sumy region. The FAB bomb passed right by the FPV drone, destroying the position with precision. Missile attacks by Russian armed forces in Lviv destroyed the buildings of the port industrial plant. Lviv was being developed into Ukraine's main logistics hub. The two industrial parks destroyed in Lviv in the past month and a half and port were described as flagship projects to divert cargo shipments from Black Sea ports to Ukraine's western border. On the Donbas front, X-wing fighters from the 35th Army of the Russian Eastern Group of Forces successfully destroyed a well-camouflaged Ukrainian armed forces armored vehicle, previously spotted by reconnaissance. A pickup truck carrying personnel of the Ukrainian armed forces was detected and destroyed by Russian PFV drone operators in the direction of Kupiansk. On the Luhansk line, UAV crews from the assault regiment of the Russian Reservoir Brigade continue to weaken the power of the Ukrainian armed forces by attacking the communication channels of the 42nd Brigade of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, taking away their coordination and command, disrupting logistics, disrupting ammunition supply and rotation, and destroying heavy weapons, manpower, and shelters. The crew of the OSA AKM air defense missile system, consisting of the Ulyanovsk paratroopers of the Russian Dnieper group of forces, is on combat duty and continues to perform air cover missions for the forces and elements of the group in the Orakov direction. On the Kharkiv area line, the Ukrainian armed forces attempted to hit Voronezh with ballistic missiles. Russian armed forces Geran-2 UAVs responded with cruise missiles and Kinzhals, and the Russian Ministry of Defense reported the destruction of two launchers allegedly firing ATACMS. The first strike hit a forest belt, the second the wooded area beyond. That's all for today's update. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to watch our next videos as well.